Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. We are going to be completely shifting your perspective on SVOC. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Sentence patterns usually just feel like boring, rote memorization rules, right? But stick with me, because by the end of this, you are going to see them for what they really are, a highly logical blueprint that will literally transform how you read English. So let's jump right in.
Okay, here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with the history of English grammar, then look at the East Asian approach. Third, we'll talk about verbs as casting directors, which is a really cool concept, followed by parts of speech rules, and finally, how to master those really long reading passages.
So let's kick things off with part 1, the history of English grammar. To really understand why SVOC matters, we kind of need to look back in time. Back in the 19th century, language learning was all about the grammar translation method, which was super heavily influenced by Latin. Fast forward to the 40s and 60s, and the audiolingual method took over. This was all about repetitive spoken drills. Then the 70s rolled around and brought communicative language teaching. The idea there was, hey, as long as you get your point across, that's what matters. Strict grammar completely took a back seat. But today, the gold standard in language learning is something called focus on form. It's really the perfect sweet spot. It prioritizes meaning, for sure, but it actually pauses to look at the structural rules when it matters.
Moving right along to part 2, the East Asian approach.
It's actually fascinating how different regions took those historical methods we just talked about and forged their own unique grammar cultures. Look at Japan. Their absolute superpower is precision reading. They master SVOC analysis to translate with intense accuracy. Then you have Korea, driven by super rigorous exams. They pivot to speed, using techniques like shadowing to process audio instantly. Meanwhile, China focuses heavily on massive memorization and deep syntactic analysis, dissecting incredibly complex clauses for their university entrance exams. It's just wild to see how differently neighboring regions process the exact same language.
And this brings us to a really crucial takeaway. Sometimes this intense focus on grammar is criticized for being too rigid or old-fashioned, but modern researchers, they see it completely differently. They actually view it as a superpower. That rigorous SVOC training is building the exact, highly advanced analytical skills you absolutely need to tackle complex academic English. So all that hard work you've put in, it's literally a top-tier weapon.
All right, let's get into the mechanics in part 3, verbs as casting directors. This is where it gets fun. I want you to completely forget about memorizing abstract formulas. Instead, think of the main verb in a sentence as a Hollywood casting director. This director decides exactly what roles need to be filled behind it for the scene to actually make sense. In linguistics, we call this valency, or argument structure. But simply put, it's just the specific number of characters that a verb demands to form a complete thought. That right there is the true identity of SVOC.
Let's actually see this casting director in action. Take the verb sleep. The director yells, action, and only needs one actor on set, the subject. The dog sleeps. Boom! Scene over makes perfect sense. But what about like? That director is a bit more demanding. They need two actors, someone to do the liking and something to be liked. And give? Oh boy. If the director just yells action with one person, the scene fails completely. Give demands 3 very specific characters, someone to do the giving, something to be given, and someone to receive it. Without all those specific actors on set doing their jobs, the whole sentence just falls apart. Okay, this is the massive paradigm shift. When native speakers are reading English, they absolutely aren't scanning a page thinking, yes, this is a pattern 4 sentence. No way. What's happening is at the moment their brain processes the verb, they are subconsciously predicting the exact shape of the rest of the sentence based on what that specific verb demands. SVOC isn't a set of rules to memorize. It's simply making a native speaker's subconscious predictions visible to you.
Which leads us perfectly into part 4, parts of speech rules.
Now, to successfully predict what our casting director wants, we have to rely heavily on word order. Unlike some languages that use little particles to show meaning, where you can mix the words around and still make sense, English is incredibly strict. Take an adverb like always. It generally has to go before a main verb, but after a be verb. So, I am always friendly is correct. You can't say, I always am friendly. That placement? It's not just a polite suggestion, it's a structural absolute. And honestly, this is exactly why so many learners hit a total wall with SVOC.
It forces you to stop looking at a sentence as just a string of concrete, easy-to-picture words. Words like dog, run, or happy. Instead, you have to start identifying these abstract structural roles. Is this the subject? Is it the object? Is it a complement? You're no longer just translating vocabulary in your head, you are actually analyzing the function of the words, and that is a huge mental leap.
But I've got a secret weapon for you: understanding adverbs. Adverbs are basically the decorations on the movie set. They add richness. They tell us when, or how much. But structurally, they are completely optional. So if you ever get lost in a really complex sentence, just take a mental pair of scissors and cut out the adverbs. If you strip away all those decorations, the sturdy, underlying SVOC skeleton will instantly reveal itself.
Okay, let's put this all together in Part 5, Mastering Long Reading Passages. So, when you're staring down this massive, super intimidating wall of text, stop reading by feeling. You need to analyze the text based on linguistic evidence. Just use this exact 3-step procedure. Step 1. Locate your main verb. Find that casting director. Step 2. Predict and identify the specific actors that verb demands to complete the thought. And Step 3. Strip away the decorative adverbs to reveal the core structure. By doing this, you eliminate the guesswork.
Now, getting this SVOC blueprint is a total game changer, but honestly, it's just step 1. To truly wire this into your brain, you have to complete the learning cycle. You've got to read actual passages, you have to read them aloud so your ears get used to processing the speed, and you need to actively write your own sentences using these structures. Basically, theory has to become practice.
So, I'm going to leave you with this one final thought to chew on. Are you reading English by feeling, or are you reading by rules? I really hope this explainer has equipped you to approach your next text with total structural confidence. The next time you read, wake up that casting director in your mind. Thanks so much for joining us, and keep exploring.